what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have now.
This is Cherry Boys, the only podcast that hopes to pop your anime cherry. I'm your main host, Wyatt.
And I'm your other main host, Andres. Today we're talking about Yamada's First Time, an anime that aired in 2010, originally was a manga from, I think, 2004 to 2011.
It's a comedy romance, probably the best way to describe it.
Comedy romance, coming of age. I just like to add coming of age because it feels like that throughout the whole series.
Well, also it's good to note that because they are all high schoolers.
High schoolers.
It's all in high school, and man, it feels great. It feels really good.
Oh, God.
It feels really good watching this. No.
Mm-hmm.
You want to bathe most of the time. But anyways, Yamada's First Time is a anime about a girl named Yamada, which we don't know her full name, just Yamada. It's a mystery throughout the entire, manga and anime.
Yeah. I think the whole manga ends, and I don't think they ever learn her name.
Yeah, that's just kind of the joke of it. But she has a goal, because she's starting high school. She has a goal. So freshman year we start off with her, and her goal is to sleep with 100 guys.
Ever since I was little, I've had one goal for high school. It's practically a lifelong dream. I'm gonna have sex with 100 guys! Hey sis, shouldn't you first, find a boyfriend? Chica! Have you ever heard of knocking?
Yeah, she wants to, before she finishes high school, wants to bang 100 dudes.
Which means she's putting 25 away per year, which is still a lot. That's a lot. Even if
she could also go 100 the last year.
I mean, it depends on how much of a decathlon does she want to take.
So that'd be a hell of a decathlon.
Yeah, a decathlon. It'd be really bad. But all I'm saying is that it is an interesting startup because you're watching it and you're just you get that initial startup and you're like, all right, well, I'm immediately deleting this off of my queue because I do not want people
One of
to
the first scenes is her complaining about how weird her vagina looks while looking at it in the mirror.
Yeah.
I'm just you immediately know what kind of anime you're getting into when you start watching this.
It kind of disguises itself as garbage. However, it actually does have some decent comedy writing, all things considered. It uses visual gags, obviously, through, all of it's, sexual innuendos, or it's just straight, blunt sexual humor. It's not, but, I mean, that's not anything uncommon in, American comedy, really.
Or, anything, really,
well, I guess Western comedy, let's be fair. But, it's definitely very, forward with it, something like South Park would be. But it does it in a very, it does it in a charming way sometimes. You'll actually be surprised because...
Right, rather than crude 99% of the time, it's actually charming occasionally. Yeah.
And, so with Yamada, she's trying to get through high school with 100 guys and everything, which is nice also as a female character having that kind of interest, as opposed to, usually the females are always either, if
it was a male character, this would be a hentai. Yeah. And it would be horrifying.
Yeah. And a few of those characters would probably be relatives. But...
most of them would probably be relatives.
Okay, but how... You gotta have 100 relatives.
I'm sure
even 50, even 25 is a lot.
Sure.
But... that he would want to. I'm just saying that, you can go bang Gam Gam if you want, but do you really want to go and...
I mean, look, a pussy's a pussy.
Alright, so, as I said, it starts off with her having a very crazy, pretty blunt goal. However, she has one thing, since she hasn't had sex before at all. So she's got to find someone to do it. That's sort of the initial start point of the show.
Yeah.
Which we're not planning to spoil anything, by the way. We will have a spoiler section later in, but right now we're just kind of getting the setup and what we overall think of it.
But her main point at the beginning is that she wants to have sex with another virgin, or, as she likes to call them, cherry boys.
It's just the good-looking ones are all so used to having sex. Finding a card-carrying virgin cherry boy who's also a hottie is practically impossible. You are messed up! I mean, seriously!
Lucky for her, in the first episode, she actually stumbles upon that.
Quite literally stumbles upon that.
So, she's out with her best friend at Takeshita, who is probably one of the best characters in the show.
Honestly, yeah, she's really funny.
Takeshita is Yamada's close friend who actually has a boyfriend of her own, who's a senior, I think, at the time.
I think it graduates for the second semester that they're in school.
But Yamada's actually jealous of Takeshita because she's like, oh, your boyfriend must be having sex all the time kind of thing, which Yamada constantly pesters Takeshita about,
much to Takeshita's chagrin, she hates it.
I want to ask him about all the dirty little details, but I can't because Breasty Betty says I'm not allowed to! And I shouldn't have to tell you that!
But so they're at I think it's like a bookstore, and then there is another guy who's on a ladder. Well, no, actually, he's on the floor. Yamada's up on a ladder. She's trying to grab a book off a higher shelf. She falls off onto a boy named Kosuda, who she ends up, after landing on it, she realizes that he's this really plain, generic guy, and immediately asks him
if he's a cherry boy.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah?
I was wondering. You're still a cherry boy, am I right? You could at least ask his name first.
Yeah, so this guy we have is Kosuda. He really is, like, the show does such a good job, because I mean, in animation it's really hard to, like, you can only draw someone with less facial features to make them, like, not really.
And he has, like, almost no facial features. He's a very bland looking person.
Yeah,
and they do that on purpose.
Yeah, that being said, though, a lot of the male characters, like, look very generic, besides two. Takeshi's boyfriend, and then a later character we get into, which will...
Takeshi's boyfriend is still pretty plain.
Yeah, but he still stands out a little bit more than the other guys, because there's other dudes, like, it's like, Kosuda's friends are also all very generic.
Yeah.
The only one of them I can even remember, I don't even know his name, he just has that little patch of blonde, and the rest is just brown. The rest of the dudes, I genuinely can't tell you what they look like.
And I could not care less about
Yeah,
them.
they don't have, I don't even know if they have names.
They have like one or two moments where they talk in the show a couple times.
And it's funny-ish, but it's mainly just, like, guys talking, but... So, yeah, Kosuda is so generic that it actually hurts sometimes. But he's actually generally a nice guy. And, of course, Yamada is, like... She's described in the show, because I don't want to sound like a pedophile when I say this. She's described to be, like, the gorgeous, like, best-looking girl in the school that everybody wants.
She's just supposed to be the prettiest girl at school.
Yeah, she's like
That's
the
like
prettiest,
kind of like the thing
happiest,
that they...
kind of
as
girl.
soon as she like shows up at school on the first day, they make sure to say that like,
yeah.
and she's the prettiest girl that all of these people have ever seen kind of thing.
Yeah, I just want to preface that before, so we don't seem like pedophiles if we say a female character is attractive that is underage in an anime. I just want the legal protection there, just for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first episode's honestly just them. It's just them bumping into each other. But the episodes are broken up into kind of like separate chunks, and they sometimes connect, but sometimes they can be completely separated. Although the events do carry over, obviously. It's not like a show where like the events don't like kind of matter in the previous ones. There is a continuing narrative, but sometimes the little incident or the little whatever that happens in the episode won't necessarily connect in a direct theme. But it is a continuing progression of all the
like some
characters.
episodes have a long theme, and then but like for the most part, the episodes are very much just like it's more of, instead of a 23-minute episode, you're getting 2 12-minute episodes.
So, what are some of your favorite characters from it, and kind of give a little bit of what they do in the story that makes you like them the most? We're talking about Takeshita. Takeshita's constantly good because she's pretty much the best. The whole thing of like, they like the whole angel sitting on the shoulder thing, which they do have in the show.
Yeah.
They have these little inner self-representations that pop up that commonly talk. But Takeshi's even better because Yamada's just tells her to go, 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 fuck, fuck, fuck. And Takeshi is like the perfect counterbalance to all that. Because anytime Yamada says anything, Takeshi's like, yeah, but you don't know what you're doing. And it like immediately shuts her down because Yamada constantly... She's
very brash and like very dumb with her decisions, but in a very not dumb, naive. I think for the most part.
She's very naive.
Very naive, like ridiculous decisions that anybody who knows anything would not make the decisions. Yeah. But she's just like, nervous and trying to get with her like ridiculous goal, and so she puts herself in really awkward situations constantly.
And those awkward situations end up leading to, because she, even though she really wants to have sex, she has no clue. Zero clue. And she's kind of, I don't know if she has, like, the phobia. I think it's more just the situation is a very pressuring situation. Yeah. And even her herself is not ready for it, even though she thinks she should be ready for it. So that's what does kind of give it an interesting thing. She's a person who wants something so badly, but yet is too afraid to go for it, which is a part of the story as it evolves. It does address it more and more, and she does grow at some point in time.
Yeah.
And it does a good job at breaking down Kosuda and Yamada's like inner thoughts of like what's happening in those intimate situations.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is very much why it feels like a coming of age show. I think it's they very much go on the it's very much a lot of it is the two of them's dialogue.
Yes,
and like them just like. Whether it's like them actually talking or in their brains them thinking about what the other person's thinking about,
which happen a lot. There are inner monologues for other characters too. It does a good job at kind of like getting through that awkward awkwardness of, especially like the first few years, because by the last year you're done, so like you don't really care. But like the first 2 years you overthink it, and you really want high school to be a certain thing, and when it's not, you kind of have a meltdown.
Yeah, it freaks you out. But like, and like I think throughout most of the show, it like, especially with Yamada, she thinks that like, oh, like she's gonna get with this guy and it's gonna be really easy and it's gonna go super well, and then like, she gets nervous when she sees a boner through a guy's pants.
What is that thing? I'm leaving.
For other characters in there, another one. So Kostada has a sister. That's one I think that stands out. Kosada's sister is
sister's pretty good.
She's pretty funny. She's pretty funny most of the time. Most of her stuff is she's trying to mentor Kostada because she knows how incredibly awkward and naive.
Yeah, and she's supposed to be like a college student or like
she's
like a year or two into college, and so she's I guess experienced in life kind of thing, and so wants to help her brother, but she's very like. She cares about him a lot, even though she thinks he's like he can be dumb about stuff.
Yeah, and she's definitely a constantly funny character. She at multiple points in time helps Kostada out with really not just simply like, oh, here's some advice, but she tries to like set him up kind of thing. Like there's one instance where Yamada's coming over for like a small little get together, and they were supposed to go and have dinner with their mom. Well, then Kosada's sister calls up and is like, oh, hey, Kostada has guest over. He won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then she leaves, and then, Yamada's like, oh, wow, she gave... Sister's awesome. She gave me, she's let me making the move kind of thing. Like,
and, like, consistently throughout the show...
Because she knows Kosada's never going to make the move. So that's why it kind of needs to give... She even tries to push Yamada into it. And even she realizes that Yamada is also a complete fucking moron when it comes to the situation.
You told me Kosada didn't have a girlfriend. Who's that?
You mean Miyano?
Oh, that's rough. I never guessed you turned out to be a stalker. What the crap?
As weird as she is, Kanajo, I think, makes a lot of the show.
She's definitely one of the most interesting characters. She's sort of the, I guess, the antagonist,
as much as she's the antagonist in the sense where like
she's directly against Yamada. Obviously, it's all high school girls leading their lives, so obviously in Kanajo's eyes, it's vice versa. But it's not like... Kanajo's not trying to, like, do something, like, horrible. She's just like, I don't like that bitch Yamada. Like, it's very high school, like, gossipy drama kind of stuff. But, explain Kanajo.
But, of course, like, Kanajo, like, she's, like, this rich girl. She's, like, really pretty. She just moved from the United States at one point in this, like, when she's first introduced to the show. And, like, she's, like, the rival other pretty girl to Yamada. And so, like, she seems... I don't know, relatively normal, but like kind of like the bitchy high school girl. And then like as like the first episode of her introduction goes on, you see that she's got like a shrine to her brother because she's like got the biggest crush on her brother.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
I love you.
Palm and fingerprints validated. Retina scan verified. Welcome, Miss Kyoka.
Man, they at least the show bashes it, because usually most shows would be like, it's okay, we shouldn't, normal. But it's not. Usually it's like, it's not the way they do this. Like, but we shouldn't do it. But I love you, so we're going to do it. This is more like, because Kanajo has a maid, and she's like, who's like kind of like her closest friend in a sense. She doesn't really, she's rich, so she doesn't really like talk to anybody at school because she thinks they're like beneath her. But she'll talk to her maid about everything. And the maid's trying her hardest to get her not to want to be with her brother, but nothing's
not ever succeed.
Yeah,
oh
no,
my gosh!
That those legs are only going to open for one human being, and unfortunately, it's her brother.
Big brother.
Which her big brother is kind of funny, which a funny characteristic that both of the Kanajos share, because Kanajo's like the family name. I don't remember Kanajo's like her like first name. They only say it like once, I think, but. Ultimately, it's not like, because they always refer to her as Kanajo, but they refer to the big brother as like Is it like Keiichi?
Keiichi.
Keiichi. It's Keiichi Kanajo. That's the one they commonly refer to him. So he commonly gets called Keiichi. She gets Kanajo. Just so if we reference the character's name, you know what the fuck we're talking about. Her older brother, though, both of them share the characteristic of that they actually have like stars like flying around.
Yeah,
themselves.
like they're supposed to be
like,
so
they're
fancy,
so gorgeous,
so
and
gorgeous.
beautiful. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
They have like little glitters flying around them.
and they have
constantly.
like this really strong, weirdish like violet red hair color.
Yeah, like
that doesn't
very.
not natural in any way possible, like kind of hair. Because it's not like red hair in the sense of like it's not like an American like auburn red or like a kind of gingery red. It's not like that. It's like a straight up like pimp interior velvet looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's such a vicious red.
It's such a treat to see someone like you after being away from Japan for so long.
As far as other characters that are some characters are there that we don't really want to like. Like, I mean, obviously there's a character called Misato who is pretty horrible. But you're not supposed to like her in any slight way. She's horrible.
Okay, maybe not like.
But she's a little too just everything.
It's a lot, but also like it's more just like it's the joke of it that she's not actually. But it's
It's funny, Misato. She's like probably the like poster girl for being a lolly. And
she's Yamada's younger sister. She's
no, that's Chika.
No, Chika. That's right. Misato's
the
other.
Misato's
no, you don't like her.
Nobody likes Misato.
It's funny. She's just
literally the character that everybody dumps on, and she's always looking to fuck guys. She's always trying
like,
to.
Yeah, and like
even more than Yamada is really, because she's way more out loud about it than Yamada would ever be. But no, she's horrible. She's really like queen of lollies. But that being said, though, Yamada's younger sister Chika, she's also a fairly like
uncomfortable consistently.
Because the only part that's really
that's the joke
about her. The only part that's really one of the jokes they have, because there's a lot of visual humor in this show. We'll talk about some of our favorite parts of it later, but just one for Chika, because it's literally her only defining characteristic besides being like, for some reason everybody likes her. Like it's the one thing, like everybody likes her more than
like
Yamada.
her all the time. Yeah,
like even more than
so
Yamada, and people are already into Yamada heavy. But for every reason, whenever Chika's in frame or any kind of thing, 90% of the time she's like eating a popsicle or something.
Yeah, very just
something that's
straight
always
up
like
innuendo.
A dick.
Yeah,
something always a dick, and it's always heavily implied that she just gives head.
Way to spend a bunch of money for no reason. I wonder which one Kosada would use.
There are some characters that like they don't really get any real final I know that sounds weird. Final evolution of character development. Yeah. There's a character called it's Mino. Right, is the character's name?
And I mean, she does kind of get some.
Yeah,
but
so
not too much.
Mino is a neighbor to Kosada and
a childhood friend.
Childhood friend, yes, which it's funny how
like neighbors, and they've always been neighbors since he was a baby, since they were both babies.
Yeah, and they're like really, really close, and she has a huge crush on Kosada.
Yeah, massive crush on him.
Where initially she did have a crush on Kosada's older sister because there was a case where she was getting bullied as a kid.
Yeah,
and then Kosada's sister stepped in and saved her, but Kosada's sister is kind of like a tomboy in a way.
Yeah, she had like short hair.
It was a boy at the time because they were little kids, and it turns out it was it was his older sister. But then over time started liking Kosada, but she like has a huge crush on Kosada and is always doing all this stuff to like she's really good at cooking, so she always makes some goods. She's always just trying to like get to talk to him, but problem is she's a klutz, and just like Yamada, she's also very nervous, but even more nervous.
But like nervous in a very different, because she's very like pure, sweet. Like,
she has only the purest intentions. Yeah. She wants to marry Kosada and like die like probably on a farm somewhere. Yeah. Like together on rocking chairs.
She's like head over heels in love with Kosada.
Not just wanting to fuck him.
Yeah. like she actually gives a shit about Kosada, unlike Yamada at the beginning, who she really didn't care about him.
Alright, so now we're getting to kind of the spoilers of it. We're just going to talk about some of our favorite moments. Not any... I don't know if we're going to try to make them in like any kind of chronological order, but just overall our favorite moments.
Yeah, we'll like talk about specific moments in the show, so like if you want to go and watch,
and that we think make the show why we're talking about it here.
Why we want to recommend it.
Yeah, why we would or wouldn't recommend it. So if you don't want to avoid spoilers, probably the best time to leave it now. If you want to
come back later,
come back
when
later,
you finish.
or just enjoy it, whichever you choose. All right, so here we'll trade off. So give me a story. Give me one of the moments for you that like you think stands out of like why you would talk about the show.
One of the moments that stands out for me, there's a lot of really dumb moments in the show, really like dumb, like
Yeah,
you know,
stupid.
Yamada gets a good idea and tries to do something, but I think my favorite is when they end up in the dark room. I think that scene
Oh,
is
the
so
dark room is
stupid.
uncomfortable. The dark
It's
room's fucked
so
up.
funny,
Yeah.
because like she, so the two of them in the episode that happens, the two of them go out, and he asks if she wants to go with him to take pictures.
Yeah.
And so he takes like pictures and whatever, and like she isn't really in any of them because he likes to photograph nature. He gets like one picture of her in, but so like they go and like, you know, she leaves kind of annoyed that like, you know, he didn't really want to take pictures of her and just of nature. And so the next day he was like, you want to like go into the dark room with me and like, you know,
Her brain is not...
yeah.
Her brain, you should not say the words dark room.
Yeah. So he's thinking like, oh, he wants.
She's interested in my camera work.
Yeah,
like,
she's interested. And her mind is like, yes, the dark room. Let's bang.
I think at one point when he's taking pictures, he's like, man, if I take these pictures and I look like I'm really into it, she might find that attractive. Like he thinks like his picture taking is like really like sexy, you know. It's a funny moment of that. But there's a camera club at the school.
Yeah,
which
the school.
Fucking must be great in Japan to have like just a camera club like that gives you equipment and has a fucking dark room. But anyways,
Yeah.
There's a dark room segment and it's hilarious. You can keep going on with it though.
And so yeah, so the two of them end up in the room, and like he's like messing with the pictures. When she walks in behind him, he's messing with the pictures, and while he's messing with the pictures, she is desperately trying to take her shirt off. She is like trying to get to second base with them. She's like over there like aggressively
But
unbuttoning
you know
her
them
shirt.
schoolgirl uniforms though.
Yeah.
They'd be hard to fucking get off of.
Yeah, and so she gets like most of her shirt out, and like she gets like her boobs out, and like they kind of like switch to like looking at him, and they show her like walking behind, like holding her shirt, kind of like this nervously, and he like almost turns at one point, and she freaks out, and then he like goes to do something else, and then they hear somebody else outside, and so like she freaks out and like stumbles and accidentally turns off the light, and so Kostada ends up talking to this guy outside, just one of the other club members. And so they're like talking back and forth, like, oh yeah, the pictures came out great. Yeah, I just don't open the door because the pictures will go bad, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Can't
so-
let light in on a dark room while you're developing the pictures. It could damage them.
Yeah, and so he turns to go look for the lights after that guy leaves, and like he's like looking for the light switch, and then he like touches something squishy, and he's like, what is this? What's in this room that feels like this? And like he keeps like touching her boobs, and like, you know, he has no idea what he's touching because he's stupid. And
Very
so,
stupid. Very
and so he keeps like poking, and he's like, huh, and he like grabs
Yeah,
it,
he
and
goes
then
the full hand pretty fast.
and then he like walks off. He's like, that's weird. And then like eventually they find the light, and like when he turns on the light and she's like mostly put her shirt back on, she like she's super embarrassed, and she doesn't know how to
He basically
respond.
just like fondled her boobs. And
Yeah,
she,
and
like,
she wanted him to, but then she didn't realize that it was gonna happen that way, where he had no clue.
Yeah.
And so she like runs off all embarrassed or whatever, and he's like, was that her? No, it couldn't have been.
Yeah.
And like he just kind of like disregards it, like it must have been just something else.
Yeah.
And so she runs off like all angrily, and he chases after her for a minute, but they end up catching up, and he gives her a ride home on his bicycle.
Yeah.
And like later on, it shows her like her boobs get more sensitive because of it, and like she considers it like a level up.
Yamada's level has now increased. She is awarded with sensitive boobie.
There's a plot when Kanajo is introduced. For this is, I guess, one of the moments that sticks out for me more is when Kanajo is introduced. The problem that happens is her older brother Keiichi actually wants Yamada.
Yeah.
And so she goes on. She's this huge thing of trying to stop Keiichi for going to Yamada. But eventually, actually, wait, no, this is before this. Never mind. This is actually, she wants to get back at Yamada because Yamada beats her at a beauty contest. That's what it is. So there's a beauty contest and Yamada wins. And she wants to get back at her. So the way she gets back at her is by like, oh, I'm going to, I'm going to steal her man. So she tries to get Kostada. She like basically kidnaps Kostada. Kanajo does.
Yeah.
To her house, to her like giant, like just stupid fairy tale mansion.
It's an
that she has
absurd mansion.
on like a hill.
It almost like the structure of it, where like it goes up and then parts of it go out, kind of
Yeah.
remind me of like Doofenshmirtz's like
it's
Evil
a-
Incorporated building. How like there's that whole section that sticks out and
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's no.
That's what her.
Yeah, her place is just ridiculous. So there's a whole bit of her. She's basically trying to seduce Kostada, but she doesn't realize that Kosada's naive, and just like Yamada, Kanajo also is very naive,
super naive.
and which is a good. I like that moment because it shows Yamada and Kanajo. they're enemies, yet they do have that like similar mindset that they don't understand. They're both vindictive bitches. But so when this happens though, Kanjo, she gets closer. She's trying to figure out how to seduce him, and she can't. So she runs to her maid.
She like takes off part of her shirt or something.
She does. She tries, but then she's like, I don't
and
know
then she gets like super embarrassed and runs away.
And then she starts talking to the maid to get some clues from the maid, which of course the maid being happy that she's trying to seduce someone that's not her brother. She's very happy about this. She runs back, but while this is all happening, so she's like, she does the information, she runs back. When she runs back, they're gone. While she was out getting information, a funny scene happened where Kosuda was just sitting there chilling on the couch, and Yamada got wind of what was happening, of Kanjo kidnapping him and everything, and they don't really explain. I mean, they kind of explain how it happens, but the image is what happens is like, Kosuda's like, oh my god, if Yamada ever figures this out, I'm gonna be dead. And then he just looks over to the window, and Yamada's just floating. Like, she's like
up, in the window, just like standing there.
And she's like tight, like her eyes are glowing. She's got like, there's like a tiger like over her.
She goes like full like demon, like.
Yamada! The words that crossed Kosuda's mind at that particular moment, they were neither, why is she here, nor, it's not what it looks like, I swear to all things holy. Instead, Kosuda was far more concerned with the following words: she's going to kill me.
They're like, poof, like the little curtains blowing, and then he's gone. When he's done. And then Yamada proceeds to pull out an airsoft gun and shoot him a few times. And it's
that she got in a previous episode.
Yeah, that she got in a previous episode. God, that's an episode where she gets the airsoft gun. I don't... That they should watch that one. But, no, the whole... then they have like a cute moment of talking back and forth and how like, oh, he likes her, not that. Like they have that kind of sweet interaction.
Yeah,
of that.
and
but
like even
I think the it's a good moment for Yamada because it shows the lengths that she would go. Like she's not only is she like not only does she kind of wanted to sleep with him and she has sweet moments with him, but she's defensive, territorial,
and like determined.
Determined. This is like her. This is her cherry boy. You know, find your own.
Find your own.
Like, she's a very determined. Like, you know,
I also think that's like one of the better parts of the show is that like, they have their stupid lewd moments, you know, where characters end up naked or some stupid thing happens, one or the other, and like they for the most part end them with like pretty sweet moments. Like they don't like really rely heavily on the dirty stuff in the show. They definitely like actively be like, you know, this happened, but like, you know, they are definitely falling for each other. I think.
Yeah, I mean, Yamada goes out her way. I mean, a lot of times, like how I said with Keiichi, she rejects him multiple times, and you know, obviously Keiichi's way better. Literally, like, I mean, he's literally like in every way better person, you know, kind of thing. Because he's even a nice guy. Like they actually explain that he's a nice dude.
Yeah, he's not like a rich douchebag. He's actually a genuine dude. But she's not just.
But she wants Kosuda. Like that's the thing is like they always go after that. She
initially she says, oh, it's because he doesn't look he looks like he's not a virgin. Then she learns he is a virgin, and then that's kind of where as time goes on, like. Actually, that episode, just thinking about that, that episode as well is another really good moment. I think with her rejecting him at they end up going to a cafe and she rejects him again, and like she learns that he's not that he's a virgin, and that was like supposed to be a really important thing to her. And then when she learns that he's not that he is one, she still doesn't want to be with him, and like, you know, they. Her and Kosuda and this other and Keiichi end up separating like after leaving the cafe, and later on it shows like Takeshita and Yamada talking, and the two of them are like talking, and Yamada's trying to like argue. Yamada's trying to argue that like, oh, she doesn't actually care for him or whatever, and like, you know, Takeshita's like, you absolutely are head over heels in love with him. You just don't want to admit it. And like, you know, she like loses her mind. She's like, I don't understand. Like she like goes into like a little robot thing. It's very cute.
You know, if you really wanted to get laid, you wouldn't be trying to hunt down a cherry boy. Seriously, be honest with yourself.
What do you mean?
I mean, it doesn't matter to you whether the guy's penetrated anything or not anymore. You only care whether the guy's Kosuda. That was strange.
Let me explain. See, when Yamada has gone over the limit to her mental load capacity, her Yamada breaker, located in the back of her mind, gets thrown. Restore!
Now, lady, I like cherry boys.
OMG, she just went back to her last save point.
Alright, so as a fun little bit, we want to add something that kind of an interesting discussion topic for the sake of the show, we thought a funny one would be if imagine we're in high school, we're at the same high school that they're at in the world of Yamada. Who would we want to be with? Who would we end up with? Actuality, and who would we just be like, get this person away?
Yeah, like
from
avoid
me?
like the plague.
I think we can agree on avoid like the plague. It's Misato.
Yeah, Misato.
Chika, any of them. I would just be like,
Man,
sorry.
well, it sucks because like if we were their age, Misato is like just like she's like one of those kids that has not matured.
No redeemable characteristics as a human being in the slightest.
Yeah, and it sucks. I mean, I think Chika's funny, but like also like she is a kid.
Okay, but let's put it this way though. Even if you're their age, like okay, you like Yamada as teenager makes sense. Kajo teenager makes sense. All that makes sense. But Chika and Misato look 10. Like they are the lolly of the lolliest.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
They're the you can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
It's just a weird like.
But yeah, so I'll let you go first. Who do you think you want to be with at that point in time compared to like your real life world? Like, what kind of girl would you say like, oh, this is the girl I was aiming for, but this is the one I'd get, but. You know, give like a little bit of a discussion of like what you think.
I think definitely I'd aim for someone like I want to say either Takeshita or Kosuda's sister.
Yeah.
And I can't really decide between the two.
Yeah. I mean, Kosuda's sister, I'm more or less thinking if I mean, hey, if you got game, you could probably get. I mean, because if you're like a high schooler,
yeah,
it's gonna be kind of hard to pick it up. I mean, you can go for it. I mean, to be fair, I was that same guy. Like trying to like as a sophomore, freshman, flirting with with seniors in college. You don't always work out,
I wasn't
but
cool enough to do that. So.
No, I wasn't cool enough. I was full enough of myself to do it. There's a difference.
Okay,
there's supposed to be the coolest guy in the school and being the most fullest of himself guy in the school. That's a big difference. But
it worked out better
if you got game, then you could probably go for Kosuda's sister. But anyways,
but yeah, and then like Takeshita too. I think Takeshita is super down to earth, and I think I'd enjoy hanging out with somebody that's like just super chill, down to earth like that. And then like Kosuda's sister is just cool. I don't know. I think it's just...
You do have to deal with all of her drama, though, with Yamada. If you... Like, you're indirectly in that world. Like, you have to sit there and constantly hear about Yamada's mistakes. And you have to...
That's fair.
And I mean, that being said, because we kind of missed out on the part that, like, at one point, Takeshi's boyfriend has to give Kosuda advice, like, please do this.
Please. I just want Yamada to shut her goddamn mouth. Like, he's so tired of Yamada.
Yeah.
Because Takeshi is so tired of Yamada. Yeah. It's really funny.
It's a good extension.
And, like, I do agree with that. I also, but
that's the person you end up being with. It's the person you want to go with.
I'd want to. Yeah. I think, I don't know, I'd probably end up with Minato. Miyano.
Sorry, there's too many of these names that are so close together. I don't like that. You'll get confused on that.
Yeah, Miyano, the like nerdy girl who was head over heels for Kosuda. I think I'd probably end up with somebody.
She's the nicest one you could go for. I mean, you couldn't really get like a negative.
Yeah, there's really no other than to the fact that she has literally zero self-confidence. Like, she's incredibly sweet. She's incredibly nice, and I think with somebody who, would end up giving her self-confidence, she'd probably be fantastic. But like, it's just I think that would be the kind of person that I would just end up dating just because.
So, like, honestly, I guess I was saying earlier, probably someone like Kosuda's sister, because I was younger, I would I don't know, it's always just something I did. Even in middle school, I tried to flirt with high school girls. It never really worked out well, because you're in middle school, they're like, dude, stop. But, I think I probably would attempt, I'd probably get far. As far as, like, a real attempt, probably someone, I like feistier people, so Yamada would be the kind of type. Probably not specifically Yamada. No, I'm not trying to go for a hussy. But Yamada's not actually a hussy. She's kind of a thought, but not like a fully achieved.
She wants to be
thought. Yeah, she's not fully achieved there yet. But
she breathes, but she's not all the way there.
I would probably go for someone more feistier like that. But then I'd probably end up with someone like Takeshita ultimately, just because that's like it's more down to earth. So it's probably the more.
Somebody you'd be more compatible with?
Yeah, someone that I'd probably ultimately be more compatible with. Someone who's kind of... Because she's kind of cynical. She's kind of sarcastic. She's kind of like the Debbie Downer in a way. More just to Yamada, but she's more realistic.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people... I'm the guy that's like, or that could happen kind of thing. And that's definitely the way Takeshi would think. So we probably have that sort of thing of like... We both kind of assume like, that shit's going to explode in their face immediately. And then we would have like kind of the connection on that. Although, that being said, another character I would definitely just be completely avoiding. Of course, we shit on Misato and Chika for being like lollies, but actually, Kanojo I would just not even if she was into actually not her brother. First off, being into your brother is a hell to the gnaw. But That being said, though, let's assume that she can pass up on her brother for you. I still wouldn't, because Kaijo, like, I mean, her only.
She's also pretty feisty.
She's feisty. Don't get me wrong, but she doesn't like. I don't know, like. I mean, I guess if she's obsessed with you in the same way she's obsessed with her brother, it would be bad. But she does look at herself as higher status, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's like she does put herself. She's like, oh, I should win this competition.
Yeah.
I should win this competition. You know, I was in a magazine. I'm beautiful. I should have won that competition. Yamada, is below my feet. And I do think that, like, I couldn't deal with someone like that.
You can deal with somebody that pretentious.
I'm okay with being full of themselves. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm the most gorgeous person
but not
alive.
a dick about it.
But I don't believe you are a higher status than someone just because you're more like you could be the most most gorgeous, beautiful person in the world, but still be like, yeah, you work like a 9-to-5 job. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, you're not anybody. You're not big shit.
You're
in the
nothing
world.
special.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, I don't think. Yeah, she is rich, but she only. But like her whole. It's just because you're from a family that's rich. It's not that you yourself actually accomplished anything in life. You're just being handed everything to you. So I probably couldn't deal with something like that more or less. They have a teacher in the show. We didn't really talk about it because she only gets referenced a few times. Mr. Kai. Mr. Kai got it going on. As far as like. That's probably even harder to get than Kosuda's sister, probably, to get Mr. Kai.
In Japan, not really.
I don't know. I mean, do you think? I mean, is that? I mean, I know it's a common, like, I know in America it's a common
trope,
trend.
to be honest.
It's a trope, but I'm saying, like, is it a common interaction? Because I think in America it's actually not like an uncommon and a common interaction, but it's not uncommon either. Where you hear it's like student and teachers, male, like, like vice versa. Younger girl, younger boy, older male, older female.
That happens occasionally. It's not. I mean, it's not like super often.
I mean, Mr. Kai's down. I mean, I'm down to clown.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, no. The more likely would probably be Takeshita, though. If I had to be honest with myself, it'd probably be her. But it's not. I don't think it's a bad choice. It's not like I'm getting demoted.
Yeah.
It's just more like what I
didn't think that way about Miyano either. I don't think that's
Miyano's
emotion. I think
she's a good person. She's a good person. It's just she'd probably be the one that would most likely end up like. It's just
I think just because of my own personality, she'd be the kind of person that I would have ended up with.
But yes, so no, but Yamada's first time, I'd say it's worth a shot. Just for the fact that it's 12 episodes. It's not a it's not a big watch. It's not a big ask. It's not.
It's a good time. It's just it's not anything that's gonna change your world, but like it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Ultimately, as far as like animation goes, it's pretty standard as far as everything looks cute, everything looks very vibrant, very nice. Visual and like the visual gags is where the animation kind of shines. Similar in a way of like how like Nichijou doesn't necessarily have like crazy gorgeous animation, but it uses its art style very well, and it uses its visual humor very well.
Yeah, and like there are certain points that like you can tell they spent all their money for the episode on that point.
Yeah, and that's how the show definitely.
This show definitely. I don't think it's anything near Nichijou's insanity.
I'm not comparing it. I'm comparing it in the sense of like I'm not like quality. I'm just more or less comparing it to in the sense of. It has an art style that it sticks to.
And it's
which can be more important, I think, than animation quality. Because there are some animes that look really nice, but like they're boring. They're sticks in the mud. They don't really have any.
This one's got reasonable.
Qualities.
This one's got pretty good animation quality. It's nice. It doesn't like. There's no points that it looks hideous, but it also like I think they animate their visual gags really well. I think they animate like just most of the scenes are animated like pretty decently.
The lighting's done really well for certain things when like it needs to be a more intimate moment. The lighting's always very dark, very warm, very perfect. But then of course like when they're doing moments where it's supposed to be more like hot and sexy, or it's supposed to be like, which is a word I immediately regret using. But when when times are supposed to be a little bit more like energetic and nice, it's definitely like they're definitely like putting like a lot of that little like kind of like if you look at the silhouettes of the characters, you see more like the sun's hitting them a lot more than it normally would be in any other anime, and they're trying to make the characters look like they're fucking glowing consistently, which that like inhuman like glow that they try to give it. But at the end of the day, I'd say go for it if you're okay with some weird intimate teenage moments.
It's a good time, and it's fun. It's very carefree. Like, it's not a show that you're gonna get invested in characters and cry about. No, it's like the kind of show that you watch and you have a good time, and it's just you're just gonna have fun. And I think that's a good show for that.
Yes. Thanks for listening or watching, whichever way you're doing this. We are gonna be trying to put these out monthly. pretty consistently. We may could do 2 per month depending on topic, or maybe if we have a seasonal idea planned. But we're glad that you joined us for this one. We hope to see you on the next one, or have you listen to us on the next one.
Bye.
Hey, Wyatt here. You know, the devilishly handsome one. If you thought this episode was funny, wait till the next one. What happens when a girl with a dream of being an idol gets her shot, but only after she becomes the living dead? You have Zombieland Saga, an anime about undead girls forming an idol group to outdo them all. You're not going to miss it on the next episode of Cherry Boys.